Hello, Glyn here, and today we are going to look at some of the core mechanics for Jewel-Delvers of Nagor Kadir. So before I get into that, I just wanted to let you know where you can find us. So you can head to the Monkey Blood Design and Publishing web store. You can head to the store, get print and digital products, and we ship worldwide. You can go to drive-through where there's some print on demand and digital products, itch.io for more digital products, Redbubble for print on demand products such as t-shirts and mugs and clocks and all that kind of stuff, and then Kickstarter if you want to follow us for the next crowdfunding campaign, which is very likely to be Jewel-Delvers of Nagor Kadir and another book to go with it. So we've got two settings that you can travel between. Also, if you head to the website monkeyblooddesign.co.uk/subscribe, you can sign up for the newsletter and you'll get the latest kind of news about what's going on and crowdfunding and all that sort of stuff. So into it, let's talk about some play examples. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at making a test. So we've got our character, More Rind. He's a Swinelands pigfolk. His profession's assault and grave robber, and you can kind of see his character level 1. He's decided to take on a religion. His favoured attribute is his cognition stat. He's got some areas of knowledge, specifically spear proficiency, which is in square brackets. That means he can apply a re-roll to hand-to-hand tests. So the square brackets designate that you can apply your area of knowledge to re-rolls on secondary attributes. So he's got leather armour and he's got a spear and 0 void score. The leather gives him an armour rating of 2. So Moore finds himself in a cavern which is blocked by a boulder. So he heads over to try and move it out of the way, and the referee says that that's going to be a 2 strength test. So he needs to roll a strength test and get 2 or more successes. So he makes his 2 strength test rolling 4d10 because he's got a strength of 4. So he scores the following. So the core mechanic is you need a 9 or a 10 for 1 success. So we can see here with the 9 he scored 1 success. Because it's a 2 strength test, that means he's not passed, but the player decides that he's going to see his excavation area of knowledge would allow him to re-roll 1 dice by using his dagger and his spear tip to chisel out a bit of the ground around it and see if he can roll it out that way. And the referee agrees, that's fair enough, he's going to allow him to re-roll a dice. So he re-rolls the 5, he gets a 10. So the 9 and the 10 are both 1 success each. If strength was Moore's favoured attribute, the 10 would count as 2 successes. But he's got cog as his favoured attribute. So 2 successes, the boulder rolls out of the way. So now we're going to have a look at combat. So Moore enters a chamber and you can see a gloom rat staring right at him. They both need to roll for initiative, rolling 1d10 and adding their cog scores. So we've got Moore Rind and the gloom rat. That's their stats there. So Moore Rind rolls first. It doesn't matter who rolls first. He gets a 6. He adds his cog score of 2 for a total of 8. Then the gloom rat, he rolls a 2, adds his cog score of 2 as well for a total of 4. So Moore Rind is going to go first. So the referee rules that the combatants are medium range apart. So that means they're 1 move increment away from getting into close range for hand-to-hand attacks. So Maul chooses the rush action, which means he can move and attack, but he takes a penalty of -1 to his avoid score for the next turn. So he moves into close range and attacks with his spear. So Maul rolls his hand-to-hand attack with 3d10 because his hand-to-hand score is 3. And he gets 1 success. So Maul has the spear proficiency hand-to-hand, and like I say, because it's in square bracket, it means that he can apply it to his secondary attribute tests, of which hand-to-hand is a secondary attribute. And it even tells us that, you know, this spear proficiency will apply to hand-to-hand rolls. So he decides he's going to re-roll the 2. He gets a 9. So now that's excellent. He's got 2 successes. Now the Gloom Rat's got an avoid score of 1, so it reduces the number of successes by 1. So he just scores the 1 success. And he can now roll his weapon damage. So bear in mind on the attack success table that 1 success would mean you roll your weapon damage. 2 successes means you roll your weapon damage and then you add your strength value to a hand-to-hand attack. If it was 3 successes, he'd roll his weapon damage 2 times. If it was 4, he'd roll his weapon damage 2 times, adding his strength to each set of rolls. And so on, up until 7 or more successes, which is a lethal strike, and he would kill outright. So Maul rolls 1d6 for his spear, gets a 5, and the Gloom Rat's armour rating of 1 reduces that down to 4. So the Gloom Rat's 8 life is now reduced to 4. So now the Gloom Rat attacks more with its bite attack, and it's got a hand-to-hand of 2. So it rolls 2d10 for its attack test. So it gets 1 success. Maul's avoid is 0, so it doesn't modify that, but it did rush in last round, so that -1 penalty means that actually, because Maul's avoid is -1, it adds 1 success to the Gloom Rat's attacks. So the Gloom Rat scored 2 successes. Now, as we saw on the attack success table, the Gloom Rat rolls his 1d6 for damage and he adds its strength value of 2. So he rolled a 3, adds a 2, gets a 5. This is then reduced by 2 because Maul's armour rating from his leather armour is 2. So he's going to take 3 damage. But he still needs to make a 1 end test for the poison of the bite. So Maul has an end value of 3, so he rolls 3d10. He just needs 1 success, and he's got 1 success with the 10. So he just takes 3 damage, so his life comes down from 14 down to 11. So now it's Maul's turn again. He's angered by this bite, and he lunges with his spear, rolling his 3d10 hand-to-hand test again. Boom. 3 successes, so that's modified by the Gloom Rat's avoid of 1, so it's still 2 successes, which means, as per the table, Maul rolls his spear damage and adds his strength value. So he rolls 1d6, scores a 3, adds his strength of 4 for 7. The Gloom Rat's armour rating reduces that down to 6. Now, the Gloom Rat's only got 4 life left, he's just taken 6, so the Gloom Rat thrashes around and dies. And the final play example for this is manifesting a spell. So this time we've got Graglan Salt, who is a human Elrith sorcerer. And specifically we can see that he's got a Mani secondary attribute of 5, so he rolls 5 dice for manifest tests. He's got 5 spell points, and he's got some spells, they're not listed here, but he's definitely got a spell called Spectral Leather. So he's cast a level 1, so on the creation of this character. He was character level 1. He'd got enough occult core attribute, 3 or more, to take on casting, so he became caster level 1 as well. He's got 5 spell points, and he wants to cast one of his level 1 spells, Spectral Leather. So Spectral Leather has a manifesting difficulty 1, costs 1 spell point to cast, and he needs to pass a 1 mani test for the spell to take effect. So generally the tests are always equal to the spell level, hence 1. So he rolls his mani test using his 5d10 and he scores no successes. He looks through his areas of knowledge. There isn't really anything that's going to be able to help him there. So the spell fails and he loses 1 spell point. So now he's down to 4 spell points. But the next round he's going to try again. So he re-rolls another test. And he scored 1 success this time. So the spell goes off, wraps around him. He's now got armor rating of 2. He takes 1 spell point off, so he's now got 3 spell points remaining. The spell at this level, it's a level 1 spell and he's cast a level 1. So that will just last for 1 turn. But he intends to spend his remaining 3 spell points maintaining it for the next 3 rounds. So where can you get this and how do you give it feedback? So if you go to ttrpg and search for Jewel-Delvers, you'll find it. There are 2 versions, the bookmark digital PDF or a 128 page premium colour hardcover. The digital PDF is pay what you want. And the hardcover is at cost, so I'm not making any money on the playtest version of this game. There's currently 150 copies out in the wild receiving feedback. So this is an example of the content, and you can see because it's a playtest version, there's art placeholders throughout it. There's a reasonable amount of art inside already. But hopefully this will go to Kickstarter. We'll raise some money to get the art filled in the spaces we need. And that's what the hardcover looks like. And it's not 5 feet thick like I see a lot of books these days. 128 pages. So how do I give it feedback? So you can help drive this along. If there's anything that you think is broken or needs clarification or anything you like, there's a Google form for feeding back and you can find that on the credits page of the PDF. There's a link to the Google form. You can also just contact us via the web page in the link shown on the screen, and that will take you to the email form to get in touch with us. Tell us what you think, and please feel free to review it on the DriveThruRPG page and rate it. Also, you can get in touch with us at any of the links on social media below. So yeah, that's Jewel-Delvers of Nagor Kadir. You can see there in that breakdown. There's crafting rules, vehicle mount handling system, 40 professions, 10 ancestries, etc. So we hope that that's useful, and I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to kind of explore what this is about, and we hope that you grab a hold of it, have a play and really enjoy it. Okay, thanks.